So I I have never recorded class on heartbreaks while I was in it. I've written a lot about heartbreaks, very uncensored blog posts, but I didn't really share them publicly. Um, anyway, it's the 4th of August, 2026, and I am currently post breakup. And What an opportunity! What an opportunity! Okay, I want to look pretty, so let me adjust myself. I'm just a woman, after all. So, what an opportunity to record this while I'm currently going through the stages of grief. And there have been people who wrote about the stages of grief, the stages of healing yourself after heartbreak. But the intention of the class is not so much focusing on what stage you're currently at and what are the technical details of it. But it is to give you something practical, how you can deal with it and still function, still go to work, still go and be a good friend to your friends, and just slowly start recovering yourself from the disappointment and looking forward to something that is a better match for you. And I'd like to say that we all should take a responsibility for the breakup, even if it was the other person who fucked up royally. And I also know that not every breakup needs to be due to a betrayal. When it comes to the last couple of heartbreaks I had, nobody was cheating on anybody. So relationships are very complex, and the reason why you decide to go separate ways, oh my god, there's just so many reasons. You just realize you don't share the same values. You realize that you both want different things in the future, and that the things that were working suddenly don't work anymore. So, or maybe they never worked, but you were just so starved for love that you decided that you will not care until you cared. Or they cared, you know. It could be you who decided to end it, and now you regret your decision, which was me for quite a while. But now, whenever I catch myself dreaming that we could get back together, I have a little question mark there too. You know, is it in my best interest? And I want to also share some resources that helped me, especially with this current heartbreak, because I have tried so many other things in the past, and it just seemed not to work as fast as what I have done recently. Every spiritual teacher or relationship coach, they have their own stages, and you might find that you don't particularly resonate with any of those stages that I will describe. And even this is largely based on my own experience, and I'm not saying that it is universal. We all deal with things in our own ways, but from my experience, what helped is to know that you're not alone, and that there are other people who are experiencing grief, who are longing after their, or lusting after even, their ex-partners, and that it just seems like a never-ending heartbreak and you just cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what Rising Woman did for me. That's her trademark name. Her name is Shai, and I bought her course back in 2020. It was about abandonment wound recovery, and she recommended the book that it was inspired by, and it was really helpful because the course was speaking my heart for sure, and it made me feel safer in my loneliness. But given the fact that I was getting over the breakup for so long, I just think that maybe it wasn't the most maybe it wasn't the biggest breakthrough that I got during that time. And the time was very dark, and despite the course that I did, I still entertained some suicidal thoughts. And yeah, it was definitely not just about that person. It was an accumulation of deeper wounds, deeper separation wounds, and I finally faced it and had to go through it. And I experienced my first big heartbreak. That was in 2015, 2016. Then it was 2020. And now in 2026, I'm kind of feeling elements of the previous heartbreaks, and I'm feeling the triggers that, you know, maybe it's also not about this particular person, but it's about what they represented to me and what I felt I lost when they left me. And I realized that again, like somebody comes into your life and they give you a glimpse of wholeness, of feeling whole, and they give you many feelings of bliss and connection to the source. For me, it's God, and connection to your body, and you just feel momentarily better when they are in your life, and you can rely on them, and you have these feelings that perhaps when they met you, you forgot. You know, I think the timing of two people meeting each other is very telling of the outcome of the relationship as well. Because if they meet you at a place where you are starving for love and affection and you feel like you're missing something, and maybe you're not very satisfied with your life, your weight, your work, your environment, and suddenly somebody comes in and it's almost like a balm on your nerves, balm on your broken heart. It was broken already before they came in, and then when they leave, it's like the hole that was there, the void and the dissatisfaction, the loneliness, it's even deeper, it's bigger, because you had not dealt with it in the first place. You know, before they came into your life, you had been feeling a bit lifeless. So they brought life back in, but when they left, it's almost like they left you even more dead than you were before. So it's important to realize that perhaps the grieving is not about the person per se. You know, now I can just like very respectfully say that the person that I have been missing, it's not like I have been missing their incredible, amazing, great character that enriched my life so much and gave me so much. Like, he was a great guy and I still appreciate who he is, but let's face it, we had not been together long enough to really feel like he had given me enough. And in every relationship, there has to be healthy give and take, but surely you cannot be only giving or only receiving, but you need to be doing both. And in many relationships, there's a big imbalance of the giving and receiving and doing nice things for each other. And maybe you're familiar with the Gary Chapman's book, The Five Love Languages. So it also helps to know like what really works for you, what is the confirmation of someone's love. And for me, it is acts of service and giving gifts. Also, don't think that the relationship had to be extra long for you to justify your grieving. No, it could have been actually only a few weeks or a few months. In my case, it had been maybe less than 4 months. But I, at one point, I could have imagined future with that guy. But now, obviously, I think I wouldn't be happy in that future. Um, anyway, when a relationship breaks up after 10, 20 years, 30 years, you know, the heartbreak can actually could have started 10 years prior to the breakup. And then when you two finally separate, perhaps you're already healed by then, you know? Okay, here I messed up. I don't think you're healed or complete. I think it always hurts. However, you had been in the process of separating from that person while you were still in the relationship. So when it's finally over, you might be well on your way. And we will all heal. I have no doubt about that. Because you had been suffering in the relationship for so long that when it's finally over, you got this like quick, sharp pain of a loss and like this fear of closing one door and opening new one, starting a new chapter, and maybe you feel like you're too old or you're not experienced in dating or that nobody will want you with kids and stuff like that. And we all have different issues that we have to tackle when we finish a relationship. And there's nothing like too little or too big problems, because we shouldn't really compare our experience to someone else's. And relationships will be hard at any stage of our lives, but they can also be really beautiful at any stage of our lives. You know, whether you're 20, 30, 50, or 60, like you can still have a beautiful relationship if you bring in the wisdom from the past, and you will bring a pair of fresh eyes. You know, you need to look at people with curiosity and fresh eyes. And that has not always been the case with me. I would project, I would think that I know what the man meant with his statements. I would make assumptions, which is a big no-no according to the book by Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. These are: be impeccable with your word, means, keep your promises, whatever you say, like, mean it. And then don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. So I am guilty of making assumptions. And I'm telling you, like, assumptions will ruin your life, especially the negative ones and the negative one in your relationship. So I would assume that, he means harm and he is here to disappoint me. And then I would just see what I would expect to see. These are the 5 stages of breaking through a breakup. 1. Overwhelming feelings like anger, fear, abandonment. 2. Numbing these emotions. 3. Overstimulating and distracting yourself. 4. Returning to wholeness. 5. Identity shift by renewing yourself in the present moment. Can be skipped. I recently had a conversation with my friend Enrika about that, because it's like we have these expectations of the return of investment, and if somebody is just not willing to put in as much effort, and suddenly the relationship dissolves, or a potential relationship, it could be just that you're at the dating stage together and it's not an official exclusive or inclusive relationship, but it just dissolves. And I think the natural reaction is anger, and you just feel so many emotions, and you feel like your whole world is crushing down on you, and then you want to jump out of your skin, and you just don't know what to do with yourself. It's like not fair that this has happened, and sometimes it happens when you least expect it. And sometimes actually you can be the one who expects the other shoe to drop. So you expect bad things to happen to you. And then when the other shoe drops, you're like, shit, it's real, it's real. And when the shit gets real, then yeah, there's just nothing else to do than give way to your emotions. So it could look like uncontrollable crying several times per day, or drinking and eating a lot. And that can actually come later. So for me, for example, it is usually like these overwhelming emotions, and then trying to hurt them back, trying to, like, strike back, because it's sort of like, you hurt me, now I need to defend myself. And I know how to defend myself with my very, very stingy words. Like, and I can hurt people with the way I talk and how I say that. So unfortunately, I did say some mean things that I cannot take back now, but I did apologize, and it's important that you also apologize to yourself, and you forgive yourself. And if they were the ones who said some mean things, or maybe they just said something and you interpreted it in a bad way, and it just sounds so wrong in your head, then I would say, first things first, stop poisoning yourself with repeating what was said, and it's always in your head like a broken record and everything. Just breathe. It was said already, and nobody can take it back. But if you can, have a conversation about that with them, like, tell them what hurt you without blaming them. This is the first principle of the nonviolent communication. You actually state your feelings, and you don't accuse the other person of causing these emotions in you. You just say, oh, when you said that, I interpreted it as, and it made me feel as, and I'm feeling hurt. If you can, have the conversation with them. However, never think that in order to move on from this relationship onto another one, or just being single for a while and at peace, never think that you need a closure, that you actually need that final conversation with them to close the chapter, to understand them better. Sometimes the other person doesn't want to talk. They don't want to talk with you anymore. They don't want to tell you what exactly was going on through their head. Perhaps they don't know themselves, or they don't want to hurt you further, or they just don't know how to communicate, and let that be okay. Don't think that you have to force the truth out of them, that you have to get more and more explanation. Actually, sometimes, like, no more explanation will be enough. It will never be enough, and you will constantly be living in your head trying to interpret what happened, analyze what happened. So you have to get yourself to a place where even no explanation will be an explanation, and it will be enough for you to move on. And I'm telling you, it is possible. Because think about it, if we all needed a closure, how would the people who have some unfinished business with people who died, how would they cope? Because yeah, it's very hard to cope. Like, when you have some unfinished business with somebody, and then they either ghost you, or they leave this world, you still need to go on living your life, and you still need to find peace. So let that be the closure that you seek, the fact that they disappeared or they died or they don't want to communicate with you anymore. It is, it's hard, but it is possible, and it starts with you. It always starts and ends with you, pretty much, because you create the reality that you see around you, and you should be at peace with it, and you should always have positive regard for yourself, positive visualizations for your future, and believe that God loves you and your higher self loves you, and you can live your best life if you stay true to yourself and to your heart, and you keep accepting and forgiving. So that's like the first stage, so these overwhelming emotions. And I feel like the second stage, if we cannot get through the first stage in sanity, in a sane mind, I think the second stage is we just get fed up with all that and suddenly we don't want to feel anything. So I am very familiar with the second stage because sometimes my emotions are so overwhelming that I suddenly don't want to feel them and I don't want to feel anything. I don't want to deal with anything and anybody. So I numb myself, and the ways that we numb can vary. But for me, it could involve lots of wine, like, and let's not even discuss whether wine or beer or any type of alcohol is good for us. I don't think so. So that's why I would abuse wine because I knew it was not good for me and I wanted to maybe hurt myself further, but also knowing that it will numb whatever I was feeling, at least for a little while. But if you have a sensitive body, like I do, what can happen then the next day? You start to get panic attacks and you start to get anxiety and you start to sleep a lot worse and you're just feeling off. You're very tired, you have a short temper, you don't have patience. So it's like I find out very quickly that that doesn't work for me. And then the other stage is like, okay, now I want to feel again, but I only want to feel pleasure. So for me, that would mean maybe lots of food, lots of chocolate, that I would actually nourish myself overly and maybe more frequently than usual. And I would obviously go for calorie dense foods and chocolate, some type of sugar. I don't eat white sugar, but I would still choose like sweet things. Or it can also look like you are now ready to have some superficial, no strings attached sex. And you will put yourself on a Tinder app, or you will contact one of your ex lovers and you will be like, hey, let's hook up, because you just have that honesty together. And that's also an important stage because you realize that you are worthy of pleasure and happiness and joy. And if that's not gonna come from the person in question, then where else can you get your dose of joy? So it's another type of avoidant and addictive behavior, even though it doesn't look like it is at first. But when you look underneath the intention behind it is really that you're again trying to avoid feeling of the pain and grief and loss, and maybe you're still feeling abandoned and rejected. And obviously, like, who will not say no to you is food and perhaps some other person who would like to get some short-term bliss with you. And all of these are important stages. And I would say that now, when I'm amidst my latest breakup, and hopefully it's the last one, so I am less likely to harm myself with what I do because I feel like it's still very much controlled. And I think even now, when it comes to my nutrition, I feel like I have experienced worst binges in the past when I would binge on the wrong foods. And now I overeat, but I would say these foods are still okay for my body and I'll be able to burn them. So thank God, actually, the more I eat, the more I work out. So I don't think it's gonna have like such a big impact on my weight, but it's still good. And it would be an undesirable result to put on weight. But at the same time, I give myself grace. I give myself grace that I'm grieving and I now feel like I need more food for some reason. And I can just accept that and forgive myself for that. And I know that it shall pass. Like nothing lasts forever. And even this stage has a deadline. And for everybody, it will be a different length. But know that the days are numbered. The days are always numbered. Nothing lasts forever. And then the final stage, which I have reached it back in 2016, and then in 2020, it's like your heart is opening up to a new experience in the best way possible, and that you will no longer feel guilty if you start to think about someone else, or you want to date again. It's weird, but like you can still feel a little bit guilty or ashamed that you're putting yourself out there again. And then there could be a rebound relationship. It did happen to me when I was grieving that first heartache I had in 2016. I was literally deep in it for at least a year and a half, I would say. I started seeing someone else that really helped. And I think the love I felt for that person was very genuine. There was actually a rebound just before the new love interest. And it's important to know that, there might be like a few people that you might use to feel better again. Maybe to feel desirable again, to feel like you're moving on, like you're past that ex, that you don't want them in your life anymore. And then you'd be dipping your toes into the water again. And then suddenly you start to feel like you could be single again and you would be totally fine with it. So I feel like now I'm entering the stage where I might not need another person to feel whole again, because it is about restoring the wholeness that you should have had before that relationship in the first place, where you feel like your heart is so full and you have so much love to give, but you also enjoy the time alone, you enjoy your own company. Maybe you're gonna get a pet and you dedicate a lot of love and affection to the pet, and maybe you start to hang out with your friends a lot. But if perhaps you don't have friends in your immediate vicinity, maybe you'll just start spending more time with yourself, going for walks into the nature, reading a book, or going to the gym, or dancing at home, writing, whatever kind of sparks your joy and whatever makes you feel in the flow. So in your zone of genius where you like block out all everything else, and your emotions sort of like take the back seat in your just being. So for me, definitely when I'm dancing or when I go for a walk in nature, when I hug a tree, I just feel so connected to myself, to God, to everything around me. And that's when it feels like I don't need anybody else to feel whole. Like I feel my feminine and masculine essence both cooperating together in harmony. I feel like I am healthy. I am whole is the best word to describe here, because I think when we break up, when the other person leaves or we have to leave them, we feel this void, like something is missing. And then suddenly when you are able to fill it back up, and it's not dependent on another human being, but you just make yourself so full of love, self-love, joy, gratitude, forgiveness. And it's like that's the essence of life that we want to keep no matter what. And obviously, when a heartbreak happens, a disappointment happens, betrayal happens, loss, abandonment won't get triggered. It's hard to jump into that place of wholeness. And you should not expect that of yourself. You don't have to think that that's even the goal destination where you quickly need to get yourself to. No, just know that it's your birthright to live from that place of wholeness. And the journey of getting there, well, it is up to you. Nobody's giving you a deadline for your healing and for your heartbreak and for like starting to listen to your intuition and heart more, because your intuition will lead you to a better match. Always, in hindsight, like the man I dated and it just didn't work out, it didn't go the way I wanted. Like I knew that there was so much that I would just now not tolerate. But I was tolerating it back then because in my starved state of mind, I just latched on to that piece of crumbs. Really. It's like men throwing me breadcrumbs and I would just be running after it. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's more than nothing. Yes, it's more than nothing to get a breadcrumb. But they say that, when you meet that right person, you're gonna get a whole loaf of bread. And maybe when you're one of those lucky ones, yeah, maybe you can get a whole bakery. So I think that would be great. That's definitely the intention for my next relationship, that the partner I meet, that we're gonna open an imaginary metaphysical energetic bakery together, where there will be enough nourishment for both of us and perhaps for also the people around us. And if we decide to have children or not, we will have the resources, the nourishment, and the safe space. What a beautiful vision. And it is my vision for you too, because if I'm sitting here and talking about my currently ongoing heartbreak, and I'm saying it without tears, and I'm feeling very hopeful, and I'm feeling very accepting of things, then it is possible for you too, trust me. Back in 2016, I had not seen the possibility of recovering from a heartbreak for a very long time, a year and a half perhaps. And in 2020, it was a good 6 months. And then I had a rebound relationship, and I was still partially thinking of the previous one. So that lend me some wisdom for this current heartbreak, like knowing that it too shall pass. Definitely, it's going to pass, and it's progressively getting better. And I started to enjoy the time on my own so much more. So I'm feeling like I'm finally entering the last stage, because yes, if I'm supposed to be single for I don't know how long, it's okay. If I keep this joy in my heart and the gratitude for my life, and I love my work, I love my friends, and I'm thinking about getting a pet, I feel like that's all I need. At the moment, I feel quite nourished by these things, you know? So yeah, it's beautiful. Like, enjoy every stage of the breakup recovery, because it's leading to the next one, and you will feel fine. I promise you that. And final thing, yes, I have written three ebooks about, I would say, like, about holistic self healing, and I like all three of them. But when I wrote the You Can Heal Your Heart book, the last one, and it was inspired by the title, You Can Heal Your Life and You Can Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. Then I wrote it when I was already fine, and I wrote it when I was in a relationship, and I knew that was going to end very soon. It was definitely not the right man for me. So I think the book is good, because there are many tips that you can use for other things, and many well-being tips that can help you feel better when life happens. And but it's not the SOS emergency book that can shift your mindset. But I have something like that for you. And obviously, I will not receive any commission or anything like that. But where's my other phone? 1 second. This audiobook, when sped up, can be finished in less than 2 hours. And I'm telling you, like, that made the biggest difference to my current recovery from a heartbreak. I read Eckhart Tolle's original The Power of Now, probably, I don't know, many years ago. But I remember that the first time I was recommended that book, or I saw it in a bookstore. Oh my God, I was maybe in my early 20s, and I was already into self-development back then. When I was 22, I read The Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, and I have to say, like, that changed everything. It was the one series that I would say, yeah, started changing my life, and everything has happened. Everything has progressed since. So those three books by Neil Donald Walsh, that opened up a door that I always knew it was there. I was always spiritual, living in an atheistic family, and I just knew, like, there was something out there, and I've been communing with it, but at the same time, like, I couldn't quite comprehend what was happening, because my parents would tell me, it's nothing, black hole. So Conversations with God, and I also did my Reiki courses when I was around 21, 22, I think. And then obviously I heard about The Power of Now, but I was like, no, 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 it's not the book's time, not yet. And then it fell into my lap. I'm not sure, maybe late 20s. And it was great. It was back then, that was the time to read The Power of Now. Like, the right books will always find you. And I had a feeling like I need to either re-listen it or just, like, refresh the teachings of it. And I found on audible.com that they just released a summary or a bit more practical guide to Power of Now. And it's called Practicing the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And yeah, sped up. You can finish the audiobook in less than 2 hours. And I have to say, like, fuck me. That looks like that. Practicing the Power of Now. And I have to say, oh my God, like, how simple. Getting over a heartbreak. Just listen to Practicing the Power of Now. And be present, because it is really about staying in the present moment, and then asking yourself, if I take one inhale now, and an exhale now, and another inhale, And another exhale. By the way, he's not exactly saying it like this, but if you're noticing your chest and belly rising and falling, just do it with me now. Just breathe. And ask yourself, like, do you have any problem now? Do you have any problem now? Now that you're sitting here or standing here, maybe, I don't know what you're doing when you're watching this. Do you have any problem now? Like right now, right a second. And now, like whatever I had said like a second ago is already in the past. So again, stay present, stay present. Like in this present moment, do you have any problem now? And it's like, the answer is no. It's impossible because like all your problems are either in the past or imaginary in the future. But when you're right here, right now, and you can breathe, that's kind of the quintessential part of it, that you can breathe. But if you're here, you're probably breathing. Then like right now, you don't have any problem. And it's like, if you can keep coming back to the present moment, where really no problems exist, because they are either in the past or in the future, and in the future they're imaginary, you're just thinking about them, then you are fine. You know, you are whole. You are whole already. And even like when you come to think about it, in the spirit of Tony Robbins, well, he once said, if you think that in hindsight you will either laugh at the situation, or you will understand the situation, or you will fully accept that it's in the past and it's forgiven, why wait? Why wait? If you think that one day you will laugh at this, or you will have a much deeper understanding of it and peace at heart, why wait? You can get yourself to this state already, when it's already done and dealt with and forgiven and forgotten and understood and accepted. It's like, get yourself to a place where you feel like it is done already. And that's what matters. You don't need to analyze the breakup, the betrayal, the oh, I'm not enough, or I'm not wanted, or this only happens to the special chosen ones. This doesn't happen to me. Seriously, who says? Who says? And then question your assumptions, because really when you're making assumptions, you are ruining your life. And come back to the present moment where you are already healed and already whole. It took me less than 1 hour, and I actually gave you the keys to the kingdom. Stay present and know that you're already healed, already whole, and you are loved, you know? And love, honestly, must come from source and from you. It doesn't come from other people, you know? You think that everything that you have in your life or that you want in your life will come from other people, but no, these people are only a vessel. And it actually comes from the source, and that comes through you. So be careful what you're creating in your reality, and give thanks for even the painful things, because they make up the beautiful human being that you are. And when you see the higher wisdom in the difficult situations, then you can help others with that. And that was the intention of this class, that I hope that you feel a little bit better. And I would like you to reach out if you have any specific question. And if you don't want to be in this alone, but you are not, and we can always get through things together, because you do need a support network around you. We all do. We all do. And I'm a big advocate of continuous self-development and dancing. Whenever you feel a bit off and you think that dancing is the last thing you want to do, just start, and everything will be better the moment you start to dance. I promise you. And then you will never want to stop. You will just keep going, and that's great. So get the power of now, and if you cannot get it, then just be in the present moment and keep asking yourself, do you have any problem now? And then suddenly, like, you will stop to think about the other person. I promise you, it will come. Because if what you're after is love and merging of souls and the feeling of wholeness, you can get that without them. In fact, you must. You must learn how to feel bliss without having sex with a particular someone. Eating lots of chocolate, drinking lots of wine, or having lots of money in your bank account. Like, these things are temporary. Unfortunately, they are temporary. Yeah, you will not take those things with you to the grave. So really, whatever you have available is only you, your body, your mind, God, and the present moment. And then, like, once you put that together, you will realize, like, fuck, I wish to be well, and it is okay to be okay, and it is in everybody's best interest that I am okay. Because if you're not okay, you also can vent, you can cause accidents, you can, yeah, make mistakes, and then like nobody will benefit. So think about it. Like, do you want to get well? Because if you want to get well, it is honestly for the well-being of the whole planet. So it is in your hands. I really want to tell you that getting better, it's in your hands. It doesn't depend on anybody else. Nobody else will heal you. Nobody else will heal you. It's just it's a fairy tale if you think that somebody will take your hand and then you get better. You know, some people, they can reassure you, like I can reassure you that you will get better, and I can support you in getting better, and I can guide you to get better faster than you would do on your own. But it is still you, and it's still in your own hands to actually go and take these actions to get better. And it starts here. You know, first you have to do a little mindset work that you are willing to believe that you get better and faster than you thought it would be possible. I am available. I am here to support you. So if you would like a little bit more than this, reach out to me. Reach out to me, or get my books, get The Power of Now, or do all of it. And we will create the best life you could ever imagine. Bye for now.